Good morning, students. Today we'll continue chapter 9 soil with the topic 9.3 soil types. As you know, weathering of rocks produces small particles of various materials. Means when there is weathering of rocks, जब weathering होती है rocks की तो क्या होते हैं, they produce small materials, particles of small materials, छोटे छोटे materials जिसमें क्या होता है sand, clay. The relative amount of sand and clay depends upon the rock from which the particles were formed. Means this sand and clay depends upon the relative the amount of sand and clay depends upon the rock, किस rock से ये बने हैं. That is the parent rock. The mixture of rock particles with humus is called the soil. इन्हीं को हम बोलते हैं humus, soil. The mixture of rock particles and humus, इन दोनों को जब mix होते हैं तो these are called soil. Living organisms such as bacteria, plants, roots and earthworms are also important parts of any soil. Means in soil we also found bacteria, plants, roots and earthworms. The soil is classified on the basis of the proportion of particles of various sizes. Means we can classify soil on the basis of the proportion of particles, how much amount of what particles are present in the soil and of various sizes. Means कितना proportion of particles are present in the soil. If soil contains greater proportion of big particles, it is called sandy soils. अगर soil में ज़्यादा there are big particles, so that soil is called the sandy soil. If the proportion of fine particles is relatively higher, means अगर उसमें fine particles हैं, so that is called the clayey soil. And if the amount of large and fine particle is about the same, अगर soil में big particles and fine particles दोनों amount same है, तो then soil is called the loamy soil. Thus the soil can be classified as sandy, clayey and loamy. अब इसमें there are we can classify soil as three types. कौन-कौन से? Sandy, clayey and loamy soil. The size of the particles in a soil has an influence on its properties. Now the size of the particles also influence the properties of the soil. Sand particles are quite large. They cannot fit together, so there are large spaces between them. अब the particles of sand are very large. जो sand particles होते हैं in sandy soil, they are very large, so they cannot fit close together. उसमें gap होता है. So these spaces are filled with air. We say that the sand is well aerated. मतलब उसमें अच्छी air होती है. Water can drain quickly through the spaces between the sand particles. Water जो होता है वो easily नीचे की तरफ sand particles से पास हो सकता है. So sandy soil tend to be light, well aerated and rather dry. Sandy soil कैसा होता है? It is light, well aerated, उसके अंदर air easily पास हो सकती है, and rather dry, थोड़ा dry रहता है क्योंकि water can also pass easily. Now clay particles being much smaller packed tightly together. Clay particles कैसे होते हैं? They are very smaller and they are close to each other. They are very tightly packed together, leaving little space for air. उसमें air की space there is very less. Unlike sandy soil, water can be held in a tiny gaps between the particles of the clay. Now water क्या होगा? Because the space is very less, so the water can be stored in between the gaps. Water वहाँ पे still हो जाता है, रुक जाता है. So clay soil have less air. Clay soil कैसा होता है? It has less air, but they are heavy as they hold more water than the sandy soil. As compared to sandy soil, sandy soil कैसा होता है? It is lighter. Sandy soil कैसा होता है? It is lighter. But compared to sandy soil, clay soil is heavy because it stores more water. Now best topsoil for growing plants is loam. जो सबसे best soil होता है for growing plants is loam. That is loamy soil is a mixture of sand, clay and another type of soil particles known as silt. अब loamy soil में what is there? There is mixture of sand, clay and another type, that is silt. अब silt, what is silt? Students, sand, soil or mud that collects at the sides or the bottom of the river. ऐसी मिट्टी जो मीन्स रिवर के साइड की जो मिट्टी होती है, रिवर साइड जो सैंड होता है, सॉइल होता है, मड होती है, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड द सिल्ट. नाउ सिल्ट ऑकर्स as a deposit in river beds. The size of the silt particles is between those of sand and clay. Means the silt particles की जो size होती है, it is between not so big and not so small. इतने बड़े भी नहीं होते हैं, इतने छोटे भी नहीं होते हैं. They are of medium size. The loamy soil also has humus in it. It has the right water holding capacity for the growth of plants. Means the loamy soil has humus, which is good for the growth of the plant, and it has the right water holding capacity, means jitna pani chahiye for the growth of the plant, it can hold that much of water. Now activity 9.3, collect samples of clayey, loamy and sandy soil. You have to collect the 3 samples. 3 soil आपको लेने हैं, clayey, loamy and sandy soil. Take a fistful of soil from one of the sample, remove any pebbles, rocks or grass blades from it. Means आपको एक मुट्ठी भर soil लेना है, उसमें अगर कुछ भी any pebbles are there, पत्थर हो, rocks हो, grass blades हो, उनको remove कर देना. Now add water drop by drop and knead the soil. Means as we knead the dough, जैसे हम आटा गूंथते हैं वैसे ही we have to knead the soil and we have to add water drop by drop. Add just enough water so that the ball can be made from it. Means इतना पानी, means as the ball can be made, इतना पानी, sufficient water ही डालना है. Can be made from it, but at the same time it should not be sticky. The means second thing is that the dough should not be sticky नहीं होना चाहिए. Try to make a ball from the soil. On a flat surface, roll this ball into a cylinder. As you can see over here, diagram is given, picture is given. First of all, you have to take the soil, you have to knead it, and just then you have to roll it in the cylindrical shape. उसको cylindrical shape देना है. Try to make this ring from the cylinder. Now up you have to make a ring from the cylinder. As you can see over here, this is a ring has been made. आप यहाँ पे देखो, a ring has been made from that cylinder. Repeat this activity with other samples also. Does the extent to which a soil can be shaped indicate its type? Can you suggest which type of soil would be the best for making pots, toys and statues? Students, the ball can be made from the clay and loamy soil. जो होगा sandy soil से नहीं बनेगा, तो it can be made from clay and loamy soil but not from the sandy soil. So ball, cylinder ring can be made from clay soil. From loamy soil only ball can be made. Ball किस में से बनेगा? Loamy soil में से. But sandy soil cannot shaped in such specific type. Sandy soil जो होगा उसको हम कोई भी shape नहीं दे सकते हैं, बिकॉज द पार्टिकल्स इन सैंडी सॉइल इज़ वेरी थिक, वेरी लार्ज. बहुत जो पार्टिकल्स होते हैं दैट आर वेरी लार्ज. सो आई होप स्टूडेंट दैट टाइप्स ऑफ सॉइल, क्लेई, सैंडी एंड लोमी, एंड द सॉइल विच इज़ गुड फॉर द प्लांट, दैट इज़ लोमी सॉइल, is clear to you. In our next video we'll continue further. Till then, thank you.